What is wrong with you? I was wondering that too. I got like Zoom acceptances for everyone. I don't know. Why did I do that?
Look at it.
Oh. This says IT. Scalar surroundings. Yeah, they were on it. They were on it. Here's my thing. Why? Some of these services include.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
And I specifically emailed. He said no. Oh, I thought that was the last one. No.
Oh.
This one too.
Maybe you're right.
The last one I had was.
Okay. Well, that would make more sense.
Yeah, because that last one. passed.
No. Put in.
I was gonna say the ice cream social is unfortunately not here, so if you're here for that, wrong place. Now the time is 7 p.m., so we'll call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pulaski.
Here.
Trustee Delapenna.
Here.
Trustee Domke.
Here.
Trustee Forsythe.
Here.
Trustee Lanisa.
Here.
Trustee Burkowski.
Here.
Trustee Trejo.
Here. We have a quorum. We'll move on to presentation of the prepared agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add item 6A1 to item 5 on the agenda and update all subsequent numbers. There a motion to?
So moved.
All those in favor of amending the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. And then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as
So moved.
second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. That being the case, our first item is the swearing in of Lieutenant Ryan Tuminero. So if you'd join me up at the podium.
Maybe we should do this later so we can keep the crowd, David.
Want to do a brief introduction or?
All right, tonight we'll be swearing in Lieutenant Ryan Tuminero. Ryan started in the fire service in 2012 and got his paramedic certification. Ryan then started his work with Rosemont Public Safety from 2013 to 2017. During that time, Ryan continued his pursuit of a career in the fire service by attaining his basic firefighter certification. He was on the fire academy in has a passion for EMS, which was demonstrated by also working for Carson Health as an emergency technician in 2006. Ryan came to us as a contract paramedic, starting in May 2017, and was with us to 2019. He also shift as a fire paramedic on the contract, then he would come back and work part-time on the fire side. So spent a lot of time here with us. Ryan continues to pursue a full-time firefighter and was hired by North Main Fire Protection District in January 2019. Fortunately, at that time he also tested for us, and we were able to lure him back here to Roselle, help him with full-time. Obviously, one of the things I love about Ryan is love for the job and his education that he keeps pushing forward with. Currently, he's certified as a fire apparatus engineer, has his materials operation instructor, his vehicle and machinery operations, crush technician, confined space technician, rope operations, structural collapse operations, and company fire officer. And just this last week, he finished up his 4-hour shift. In addition to that, integral into our organization's CPR coordinator, which is a large task, coordinating all the CPR programs both within the department and for the resident community. He's a member of our dive team and technical rescue team, which are additional to his primary responsibilities. He's also in charge of our radio. Take a look at Ryan's personnel file. It's filled with thank you letters and accommodations based on his performance, including firefighter of the year 2018. Ryan's promotion to rank lieutenant will be a great asset to the department. So, Ryan's team share his drive and love his job with those two mentors.
I was gonna say luring a Tuminero back to Roselle. I don't know if you have to lure much there. So I think it's not much of a Roselle experience if you don't go to class with a Tuminero. So, I had my own in my own class. So, but if you need the cheat sheet, you can hold it. That's fine. But if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ryan Tuminero,
Having been appointed to the position of fire lieutenant in the village of Roselle
having been appointed to position of fire lieutenant in the village of Roselle,
in the counties of DuPage and Cook,
the counties of DuPage and Cook,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of fire lieutenant
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of fire lieutenant
to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Oh.
One chance. to Lieutenant Ryan Camaro. Ryan, it's a very long process, and everybody put in tons of effort. That said,
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. Hope to see everybody and all my peers, family, friends, just to kind of show your support and coming out and being here to see me at this. So thank you. Thank all of my shipmates and everyone like that. Any of you guys. Second family, for the past 7 years. Guys, that's my family. Being here with my second family, I sometimes neglect my family, so coming out and always get supported. The police department is coming out, you guys are always supporting us. Thank you, everybody. And so everybody here, believing in me and supporting me. And hopefully I will live up and expectations.
everybody stay at the rest of the meeting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're your third family, right?
Yes.
Is that
yeah.
what- Stay and see your government in action, right? See you later. Nice crew to be had.
You know, one of the best parts about being mayor is getting to swear in our new officers. And I think we always get a lot of new recruits. We've got a very young department in both police and fire. But whenever we get to do promotions, those are always exciting times to see the personal growth that we see within our departments and to be able to promote so many people from within. It's really amazing to watch the journey that everyone's on. And so we really appreciate that and appreciate our leadership that we have in each of our departments that helps support our team in growing as well. While the room is clearing out, we'll move on with our agenda item. The next item is Village Board Public Comment. Anyone wishing to provide a comment on a topic and or an agenda item may address the Village Board in person during the public comment or public hearing segments of the Village Board agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The Village Board also adopted the IML Civility Pledge, which states, in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. Madam Clerk, did anyone submit a slip to present in advance?
Nacho.
You just like to approach the podium, please just state your name clearly into the microphone.
My name is Anna Cho.
Yep, and you can go ahead with your public comment.
I bought a property, which is a triplex property in 2022, so it's been about 2 years. So I bought this property with intention that my family members will move in with me. So when I bought this, it came with tenants living there. And then I stated to them that I cannot renew their lease. All their lease expired. And so I stated to them that I needed to fix the place. So 2 families moved out quietly and 1 family refused to leave and refused to pay me rent. So I had to go through eviction process and spend thousands of dollars in attorney fees, and not to mention the time it took for the whole process. So it just left a very bad feeling that I don't want to live with tenants. And so after they finally moved out, there are two units upstairs. So I tried one unit as a furnished rental and other one was just a regular tenant. And the regular tenant lived there for 1 year, and I told them after living with them that I can't renew their lease because they were very disruptive. So they would have friends and family over frequently, and it would be like 20 to 30 people. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this, and it's a 1,000 square foot apartment. So it's a setting where I could hear all the footsteps downstairs. But it's not like a townhouse, more like a condo. And then he also caused like property damage to my furnace, so I had to get a new furnace. So my options are, rent out this place as a regular rental or furnished rental. So I tried furnished rental. Because there's 30-day restriction, I followed the rules so I've been doing it for 2 years, and it's very difficult to find people who has a need for 30-day stay and plus. And this past summer, I had 2 guests that stayed there for 3 months. But I found that they were fine, but then after they left me a huge mess. I had to repaint the whole place. It costs a lot of money. And then, so I filed an appeal with the village, and I was given a permission to do short-term rental with one of my units. And I've been doing it for since August, mid-August, and it's working out great for me. So all my guests so far, there's been 10 reservations approximately. So they're usually 1 guest to 3 guests. They all been respectful, and they usually come to visit family members or they usually come for work. So nobody has partied, and I wouldn't allow that because I live there. And I understand that the village has this rule that it could only be owner occupied property. But I see this building as my house. I don't see it as like a separate compartments like you would. So I want to feel comfortable in my own house and be able to choose who goes there and who's not allowed to come there. So I'm asking for this opportunity to do short-term rental for the other unit. And another thing is with this building, it's all electric, so the heating bill is very expensive during wintertime to heat all 3 units. And I'm a single income earner. I don't have another person who contributes to pay the expenses. So I'm just asking for, I'm not trying to make a lot of money doing short-term rental. It's probably more stable to rent it out and get regular income every month, but I just cannot live with tenants after my experiences. So my only 2 options are either furnished rental or short-term, but then I'm not given permission for the other unit to do short-term, which I like so much better. So I'm here to file an appeal to ask for a permission to convert my other unit upstairs as a short-term, because, you know, I understand that you do have that law where it has to be owner occupied, and I do live in the building, so I take very good care of my property. And one of the things I really like about short-term rental is that I have access after guests check out where I'm able to clean and maintain my house. And since the guest has all came and gone, my unit upstairs, it's in original condition. I remodeled it to do this business, and after like
I
10,
didn't mean to interrupt you, but if we could wrap up, we're
Oh,
approaching
I'm
the
sorry.
limit, I apologize.
yeah. So if you could please consider my case, because this is kind of a unique situation. I live in the property and I'm not trying to get rich off of this property. I just want to be able to maintain it and pay my bills, and, you know, and I don't want to have to move and sell this place because I love living there. It's close to my work, and I love the house, so.
Okay, thank you. Well, we don't have anything on our agenda to discuss it tonight, that would take an amendment to our ordinance to make that change. I will discuss with the board under other business if they would like to bring that back for discussion. You know, we did put that ordinance in place after we did have an Airbnb that led to a massive shooting in town, and so that's why we have the ordinance in place. Hundreds of bullets were shot. There was people that were killed, and so that's why we have put this in place. Granted, that's not every situation and whatnot, but I think that's kind of the rationale for why we had done this. Obviously, I think we hope and strive that everyone has the utmost concern about who they're renting their property to, regardless of how they rent it. But I will ask the board under other business if they are interested in bringing it back for discussion. So thank you for providing our visibility to your situation.
When would I hear the?
I mean, that'll be at the end of our meeting, so I don't see our agenda going too long. So if you want to stay and just wait to see, otherwise we can, the meetings are always streamed and recorded on YouTube, so you can always look it up online. So, okay. Are there any other members of the public here tonight that wish to address the board? Yep, if you just come to the podium and state your name for the record. Terry, you can come up to the podium.
Good evening, my name is Gary Erickson. I actually have two public comments. They're different, but they're kind of related, so.
Just bend it towards you.
We'll have staff help. That's okay.
That's better, I think. My first comment, do you need me to take a break between the two of them?
You really only get an opportunity to do one public comment, so you can just go through it all at once if you'd like.
My first comment is regarding the ADA feedback, meeting that was held last week. Since I have moved here, over 8 years ago, I have been constantly exposing many problems that affect me, other pedestrians, and other people. Also would have more of an effect on other ADA people. I was very pleased at the fact that Roselle allowed that to participate in this program. I think it's a very good program. Don, the gentleman that was leading it, seemed to be very knowledgeable and understanding and realistic, and I appreciate that. My concern is, so I want to thank Roselle for taking part of that when I guess other cities did not. My concern, though, is the fact that I have been saying time after time after time after time, exposing problems. I hope this is not just another gimmick. Elections are coming in 5 months. I hope this is not just a gimmick to say, hey, look, we're supporting ADA. So my comment here is whatever feedback you get from that, whatever feedback you get from myself or any other residences, please stop ignoring it. Please let's do something about the problem so that we don't have to continue to live with them or do public comments about them. Related to my second comment, I had another question that's not really a question that doesn't have to be asked, but I did review a lot of the ordinances, and many of them said that law enforcement, not an exact wording, but basically it said law enforcement is not obligated to enforce this law. My question is, I hate to, the new way everything works, I hate to call 911 to report a parking violation or mangy dog sign in the middle of the sidewalk or other simple violations. My question, which doesn't need an answer, but it would be nice if we had one. I wish the village, with all the computer equipment that they've been purchasing and everything like that, would have a way that we could report such incidences, such what are considered to be non-emergency incidences, to a website form, so it wouldn't tie up 911, and hopefully it would actually not get ignored, but be resolved. And then take that same computer system and log the complaints and see which ones, such as trees overhanging sidewalks and that, which are going to repeat every year. Maybe the city could then keep track of that instead of having us have to do it over and over and over again. My second main public comment, I don't know how to do this now because apparently I was informed last week that we can't submit written things and have the clerk read them anymore, but I don't know if that's true or not, based on the fact that clerk was asked if any were submitted. So it'd be nice to clarify that. But I see that it's out of the board agenda thing. It doesn't say you can submit them anymore. Speaking of ADA, I think that that would be a very, very bad move. For those of you sitting way across there, you can probably read my text. That's the text I have to read. And if I'm supposed to read off of a page, I can't do it and speak into the microphone. I would love to be able to pre-record audio and then play it back. We don't have that ability, and I've been told by this very board before that I cannot submit audio or video, even though staff can do it, okay? I think it would be fair to everybody, including those who are blind, have mobility issues, are homebound and cannot just show up on their own, or various other situations. Also, somebody who's in a wheelchair and it snows 2 feet out, they want to come make a public comment, they've got to come and do that. So I'd like to see if that could be addressed. Pardon me for just a second, I'll shorten this up. I guess the primary concern I have is that, as I addressed to Don at the last week's ADA feedback meeting, we should seriously consider listening to those people who are disabled when we're talking about ADA issues. Normal people don't get it. Don seemed to get it because he'd been working with them for so long. Last public comment, there was a 35-minute discussion on the tree restoration program. I thought that was absolutely awesome that we were taking that much time to, as one of the trustees said, get it right. Yet on the other ones, I see where there's an ordinance being modified and it doesn't even give us the ordinance chapter section and that, or what's being done to it. So we have to either go look it up on the village code, each and every one of us. So it's not really being told to us what's being modified, just that, hey, there was something that we did. We might as well just put on the board agenda, hey, we're going to do stuff. One line covers everything. You want to know what it is? Well, you have to investigate it later on your own. So speaking of ADA issues, everybody up there should know that I don't play the I'm a disabled person, you got to do something for me card. I don't do that. Everything else, everything that I have reported since I moved to Roselle has not only affected an ADA person, but would affect any other pedestrian. So please, let's not ignore these things. Let's solve them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The project that we've been working on is because of a grant that we were able to receive. We'd applied for that grant a number of years and were rejected. And so we were successful this year. And so I would just say, you know, these aren't things we've been ignoring, but we wanted to make sure we had the right resources to help us address it appropriately, because we know that is a specialty. And while we do our best to implement those with new construction, to retrofit, it does require a lot of additional attention. And so I'm very grateful that we're able to actually move forward with this plan. And so we're excited to see what the findings are and know that it's going to take us multiple years to resolve these things, that it's not going to be a 1-year project. It's going to take us probably over a decade to resolve everything, but it's going to give us a roadmap to do that. And this is the first step in that journey. For any issues for public comment or whatnot, working with our ADA coordinator, we can make special accommodations to make sure that that's something that can be done. So providing things to the clerk to be read or having a recording, those are all things that we can work with our ADA coordinator in order to accommodate. And then finally, a lot of the issues that were kind of addressed, at least there, we do have an online code compliance form that people can do things. I know I've helped my mother-in-law submit things for issues that she's had at times with other properties. And so that's something that can be done already today online. So for things like overgrowth of vegetation, other property maintenance issues, those can be done and those are addressed by our code enforcement officer. And then you can get results online as well on that. So it's something that we can probably do a little bit more to educate people and what's available. Is there any other members of the public that wish to address the board at this time? Let the record show none. We'll continue on with our agenda. Under Mayor's Report, I just want to make sure that everyone joins us for Winterfest coming up. And I'm sure our clerk will mention that a little bit more, but I'm just going to do another plug for that on the December 7th, also, we'll be having our last coffee with the board for the year on Saturday, November 30th. So come to Village Hall before you shop small on Main Street. We'll have our holiday open house with coffee from Maple Leaf Roasters as well as chocolate from Chocolate Inspiration. So come for socialization, networking, meeting new and old neighbors, and then asking your burning questions to the board in a casual environment. So I'll be at Village Hall on November 30th. With that being the case, I have no other items to report. We'll move on to village trustees. Any trustees have a report tonight? Trustee Pierakowski.
Sorry, two things. I'll try to be quick. One, I just wanted to remind everyone or let them know that 2025 Flags for Roselle subscriptions will open on December 1st. So you can go onto the website and do it that way. Also, there will be envelopes available to be able to submit if you want to do it via paper check. The other thing is I want to let everybody know that the Lake Park Educational Foundation has one of their bigger fundraisers coming up. It's on December 6th. It's going to be at East Campus. It's called the Night of Fine Dining and Theater. So the tickets are $40. There's a silent auction, all that. There will be food passed around. Past hors d'oeuvres, basically not a sit-down meal, but there will be food. And then following that, you can go and watch Lake Park's winter play, which is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So make sure that if you are interested in that, that you buy your tickets soon. Tickets have to be bought by December 2nd.
Thanks so much. Any other trustees have a report? All right, we'll move on to village clerk. Any report?
Yes, Saturday, November 30th is also cooking oil recycling. So if you have vegetable oil, no animal fats, you can bring it to 40 South Prospect, right across from Village Hall. And Green Roselle is accepting that. They bring it to Scarce and they turn it into biofuel. And Winterfest is coming up. So join us Saturday, December 7th from 2 to 6. There will be live entertainment, kids activities, food trucks, and the annual holiday tree lighting ceremony. And I found out holiday karaoke is back on. You come for Winterfest.
All right, village attorney. Village administrator. All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. First, we have the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no discussion of these items unless removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items removed from the consent agenda tonight? The record show none. Tonight, we have presentation approval of the village board minutes of November 11th, 2024. Approve and release of the previously approved but held executive session minutes of April 25th, 2022, March 28th, 2022, March 14th, 2022, March 3rd, 2022, January 24th, 2022, January 10th, 2022, November 1st, 2021, June 29th, June 22nd, June 8th, March 9th, March 9th of 2020, August 26th, July 22nd, March 11th, February 11th of 2019, October 8th and November 22nd of 2018, September 12th of 2016, September 8th of 2014, March 18th of 2013, November 28th of 2011, October 10th, August 22nd of 2011, and January 2nd of 2001. Adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and MGT Impact Solutions LLC. And adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and Municipal GIS Partners. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Drumkey.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. We'll move on to our with our agenda to community development. Trustee Pierakowski.
Thank you, Mayor Pulaski. I would like to move passage of an ordinance granting a special use for the property commonly known as 745 East Nergy Road, Roselle, Illinois.
Second. Any discussion on this item? All right, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Pierakowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye. Aye.
That motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to move passage of an ordinance granting a zoning variation for the property commonly known as 50 West End Road, Roselle, Illinois.
Second. Any discussion on this item? Record show none. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Pierakowski.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Delapenna.
Aye.
Comkey.
Aye.
Forsythe.
Aye.
Lanisa.
Aye.
That motion carries.
That is all I have, Mayor Pileski.
Thank you so much. Administration has nothing tonight. Fire, trustee Delapenna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement pertaining to the West Suburban Fire/Rescue Alliance.
Second.
Any discussion? We have a roll call, please.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Comkey.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Burkowski.
Aye.
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
That motion carries.
I'd also like to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement pertaining to the West Suburban Fire/Rescue Alliance Equipment Sharing Agreement.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
Trustee Domke.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Burkowski.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move on to police. Trustee Lanisa.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of Roselle and Minuteman Safety and Life Safety.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, trustee Trejo.
At this item, I just had a concern with the cost of the extended warranty. It's like $10,000 and the camera itself and the equipment's 23,000. So I feel like, to me, I'm supportive of making this purchase, but I'm not supportive of the extended warranty.
Chief, any information you can provide about the extended warranty and wear and tear?
Yeah, so the reason why we went with this company is they did have an extended warranty. The previous company that we had only offered a 1-year warranty. We had an issue where within 2 years of buying from that company, the equipment failed and we had an issue. So we were looking to do this extended warranty so that if these parts fail, specifically the cameras are about $4,000 a piece, and then the brains of the unit, which goes in the back of this will go into the CSO vehicle. That's $9,700. So we were looking for an extended warranty because we had some bad experiences with the previous cameras. And that's why we picked this warranty.
Any other discussion on this item?
Do
Trustee
you have a
Domke?
warranty on those, Chief? Did you have?
They only offer a year. That's the problem. The other company, they don't give you an extended warranty on it. That was the issue. So if they break, you're out of luck. After the year.
So, and is this prorated or is it you get a free camera if it fails?
Yeah, so if they come out and there's an issue with the camera, they just give you a new camera or a new, the brains, it's called the trunk unit, so the brains, whatever it is that's broken, they just give you a new one, they replace it right there. This company reps for Genetec, which we have the tablets, Genetec in the squads, so they're a rep for them, so they're able to change it out right there for us.
And one more thing. It's funny because I'm buying something right now that has the same implication where I'm buying it and it has an extended warranty and it's pretty expensive. But then I was confronted with someone that told me, what if the software goes out before the mechanical thing goes out? Now, you know, I got an extended warranty on mechanics, but the software now makes my mechanical obsolete. I mean, you have those conflicts. Do you have that in this particular case?
We don't foresee within the life of this contract that the software will go out of date. We've only heard good things, so we checked with a bunch of municipalities who use this company, which is Minuteman, and they're very happy with it, and they've had it for much longer.
Yeah, I'm not just saying that the software might go out, but the way they plan obsolescence with software, that can go out before the mechanical ever gives up the ghost.
Yeah, that's,
So-
in this, we had not heard that. We would think that the other municipalities would have experienced that before because they've had these units, Minuteman specifically. So they had not given us any feedback where, hey, be careful that the software's, your cameras are going to be good, but the software needs to be upgraded. And software would be, if that happened, is way cheaper than the actual hardware.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Trustee
I'm
Delapenna?
usually not a big fan of extended warranties personally, but in this case, I mean, if we decide as a board to not do the extended warranty, we have to go into this open-eyed that if they do break, it's going to cost us $20,000 to replace them. So that's just it's a roll of the bones.
Yeah, I
Yes, trustee Dom.
make a good camera and we won't have to worry about this stuff, you know?
Start a business. All right, so we did have a motion and a second on this item. There's no amendment
I'll make a
to,
motion to amend the purchasing order to remove the extended warranty of $10,214.40.
is there a second?
I could second it just because I think that it must be looked at.
Okay, so there's a second. Any discussion on the amendment itself to remove the extended warranty? Or,
Basically said my piece. So.
okay. If there's no other discussion, then could we have a roll call on the amendment?
Trustee Trejo.
Aye.
Dromkey.
Aye.
Della Penna.
Aye.
Trustee Lanisa.
No.
Trustee Forsythe.
Nay.
Trustee Prokowski.
Nay.
I never get to break ties. I'm gonna be nay in this case as well, so the amendment will fail. We'll move back to debate on the item itself. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, could we have a roll call, please? Yes, it was just a vote on the amendment.
Lanisa. Trustee Lanisa.
Aye.
Trustee Prokowski.
Aye.
Trustee Forsythe.
Aye.
Trustee Della Penna.
Aye.
Domke.
Oh,
Trustee Trejo.
Nay.
All right, that motion carries. We'll move on to Public Works. We have nothing tonight. Finance. Weird, we have nothing tonight. That's a rarity, but because of our meeting cadence, that's the way it is. Nothing wrong. We'll now move on to new business. So first we have discussion regarding an intergovernmental agreement with the DuPage Metropolitan Enforcement Group, also known as DUMEG. So we'll have Chief Barretto presenting.
So the Roselle Police Department's been a member of DUMEG, which is the DuPage Metropolitan Enforcement Group since 1985. DUMEG involves a partnership between local, county, state, federal agencies. And there are 28 agencies in DuPage County participate. 2016, we signed a IGA with DUMEG. And I'm sorry, in 2016, we added the DuPage County State's Attorney as part of DUMEG. The current IGA has to be approved every year. And what DUMEG does is enforce drug laws and provides us personnel and assistance for enforcing drug laws within our town and then within the entire county. The high points of this is it has to be annually renewed. It lists the duties of the policy board and then what the DUMEG officers are allowed to do and what they can do. We can terminate within 30 days notice. And we do not contribute an officer to DUMEG. We actually pay a fee, which is $18,000, which is budgeted. But it's a bargain because when we have an issue, you call DUMEG out, they send their officers out, and they're able to handle the problem. So we recommend signing the agreement and continued participation.
Great. Any comments or questions from the board? Trustee Domke?
do we use 2025 money? I mean, we have to pay when do we have to pay the dues? Next
Every year, we pay every year, and that's in lieu of putting an officer on the team.
So are we just gonna say, yeah, we want to be in and then we pay in January or something? How does it?
Yeah, whenever they bill, I don't know when they bill us, but 2025, they,
And we specifically put this as one of the items we budgeted for, right?
Yeah, we've been a member since 1985.
Yeah.
So this is, nothing changes in terms of what we've been
That's a
doing. in
great
the case,
thing.
so.
I'm just asking questions. That's.
I think what's great is, what's shocking, maybe, I don't know if that is shocking or not shocking, but we didn't have an actual formal agreement. It was kind of more of a shake of hands and we just parted ways, but now we actually have something that provides structure, accountability, which I think is, and transparency, frankly, which is important for everything. So how this went on for decades without an official agreement, I have no idea, but here we are. So baby steps.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
So
much.
everyone's fine with staff's recommendation. We'll put this on the agenda to approve. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief. We'll now move on to our ADA procedures conversation. So we'll have Village Administrator Jason Pulowski presenting.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an extension of the ADA Transition Plan project that's currently underway with the assistance of CMAP. As in addition to not only reviewing kind of the physical assets, sidewalks, of the village to identify potential ADA, issues with ADA. They also look at our policies. Before you tonight is their recommendations as it relates to officially designating an ADA coordinator, longstanding. The assistant administrator has been, and it's listed at the bottom of your agenda. So that's the person that people know who to contact should they require any ADA assistance. There's also a recommendation to establish a grievance process to provide fair and prompt resolution of complaints under ADA. Kind of unofficially, we have always comply with ADA when it comes to a complaint process. This just establishes it in writing and has the board formally adopt it, as well as then a communication policy to ensure that, and under the grievance policy, first it's the assistant administrator, and then decisions can be appealed to me as administrator. And kind of the third recommendation is the effective communications policy that establishes kind of clear that the board and the village will effectively communicate people with disabilities and kind of the process for doing that. So those are kind of the three highlights of the recommendations from the consultants that the board formally adopt these, what I consider are otherwise informal kind of policies and procedures that we've been following.
Any questions for the village administrator?
Kind of appropriate title for tonight, right?
Mhm.
That we're saying what we do and doing what we say now.
Do we know when we might start to get the physical? I know that's not related to this, but do we know when we might get a first draft of the physical report?
So there's a steering, I don't think it's until the spring. Yeah, I think it's spring. So there's a steering committee that's going to be formed. So we're still trying to form that steering committee, have public participation as well as other governments in the village. I think there's 4 meetings of that. They're kind of putting the streets, they did the on-site, they're now utilizing technology through UIC that basically scans all of our streets, Google Maps. I don't know what it uses to identify stuff in addition to the in the field work. So maybe late winter, there could be a preliminary thing maybe presented to the steering committee. We're also promoting the online survey where people can post areas of town that they have concerns with. And I think that's open through next year. So it's still kind of in that fact finding. So when we'll have an actual, kind of draft document, I believe it's in spring, but I'll follow up with the consultant.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think the steering committee is supposed to kind of help review the draft and provide some initial feedback.
Nope.
It would be, later next year.
That makes sense. Nope, this is gonna be, there's a lot of layers to this onion that we're gonna have to peel back, and it's gonna be a very diligent process, so I appreciate, I know we had some participation in our sessions last week, and it was great to meet our consultant that's helping us with it. In fact, I know for everyone's sake, he actually cited that there's a lot of things that Roselle did really well that he took pictures of to show other communities as an example of what you can do with ADA, and was very impressed with the work what we have been able to accomplish. Obviously, there's a lot more to be done, but he was very impressed with what we've been able to accomplish given the size of our community. I think that's the hardest part is a lot of these laws. It's easier if you're a larger community to come to compliance with those, but these kind of in between, there's not a lot of money to help tackle these things, and we've got a lot on our plate to handle. And so he was very impressed with how we've been able to adapt or find opportunities where we could improve the situation. So is the board's consensus to move forward then with these items as presented?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. We'll put them on a future agenda then. That concludes our new business topics for this evening. We do have a second opportunity for village board public comments. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board at this time? The record show none. Under other business, as I had mentioned earlier, given the public comment regarding short-term rentals, is there any desire of the board to bring this back for review and look at other alternatives? Obviously now with us being home rule status, it does give us some different opportunities to regulate it than we could at the time. So including licensing and other things of that nature. But is that something the board is interested in opening up? So Trustee Domke?
I remember the incident you talked about where being a non-home rule, we could only do so much. So we made it, what was it, 3 days, David?
So I'll actually ask our zoning our community development manager and zoning administrator to just to give us a highlight of the short-term rental policy that we currently have in place.
So it is a minimum of 3 nights and a maximum of 30 days. And it has to be, owner occupied property. So it has to be, I think the wording in the ordinance is where you're registered to vote is the location where you're allowed to have a short-term rental so that we don't have, companies or people just buying secondary homes in Roselle just to rent them out to a consistently turned over group of people.
With that, I mean, I don't know what the young lady, but 30 days, is that what she would want? to have?
So maybe Karen, can you explain the instant issue of 3 units? One's a
Right.
short term.
So she doesn't live in all 3 units. She only lives in 1 unit. So the issue is that she can't rent out additional units in her building as short-term rentals because she's only living in one of the units and it has to be your owner occupied unit.
Because it's a 3 flat, that comes into question. Usually we have, most of our housing stock is a single family home, in which case you have to vacate the premise. You own the house, but then you're renting it maybe for a weekend or whatnot to someone else. In this case, it's a 3 flat, so it's technically, I think from a zoning perspective, it's 3 individual units versus 1 house. It's 1 building,
That
but
would be how we'd have to.
in this instance, correct, but there's other things that are on the table that weren't at the time. We can license these businesses, so if there isn't compliance, we could revoke a license and thereby shut them down essentially from doing short-term rentals. There's other things that we might want to require, but we just couldn't at that time. I think it's something that with the President's Cup around the corner, there could be a lot of demand for people to find housing and whatnot in the area, and there's not as many hotels as there will be for an international tournament of this scale. So I think there is some other opportunities on the horizon where it might be advantageous. I will say, to add balance to the conversation, we've also received a number of complaints about a short-term rental that has been following all the rules correctly near a school that's created some animosity in the community, that neighborhood. So we hear different things from others. So there's a lot of pros and cons to the whole short-term rental market. So, but purely tonight, this is just, we would give staff time to bring a presentation. Ideally, after we finish wrapping up the conversations, probably around the tree policy, so that we only have like 1 big zoning thing on our plates at a time, and then we can discuss this at a future board meeting. So it sounds like, Wayne, you're open to discussion.
Open to discussing,
I'm
yes.
open to, we have more tools to use now.
Yes.
Okay, I've got 6 trustees who want to discuss it, so it's going to be a process we have to go through because this is an ordinance. We'd have to have public hearings and go to our zoning board of Planning and Zoning Commission. So it's nothing that's going to change quickly, but it's something that we'll probably bring back early next year to discuss. So please pay attention to our agenda portal for more information, and there'll be opportunities to also testify in other meetings as well on that situation. So appreciate the direction back from the board. Is there any other business for discussion only tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we got a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.